This little princess lost her mother and was left alone in her room. But then one day she finds the way to a magical land full of dragons. Will they help in bringing back the queen? It all happened a long, long time ago. There lived a soft-hearted king and his beautiful queen. For several years they lived happily in love and peace. And then one day their beautiful daughter was born. The royal couple called their child Barbara. Everybody in the castle was happy at the birth of the little princess. Since the king's marriage, there was a rumor that the queen was a sorceress. Before anyone could prove that, the queen went missing. A day went by, then another, and another one, but the queen was still gone. Nobody could find the queen, as if she disappeared into thin air. The first counselor Balthazar came to the king and informed him that their undercover agents were working hard day and night. They won't stop until they've checked every nook and cranny of the kingdom and found the queen. Until then, the counselor wanted to take over parenting of the young princess. The king took a deep breath and entrusted Balthazar with the care of the princess. It's been 6 years since then, but Barabara still hasn't forgotten about her mother and still believes that one day her mother will be back. Every night she looks at the stars like they are going to guide her somewhere. Barbara never liked Balthazar's methods of upbringing, and her father keeps neglecting her, as he is suffering from sadness since he lost his beloved wife. Because of such circumstances, Barbara has grown up really mischievous. All day she keeps playing all around the palace and teases everybody. Balthazar and his assistant try to stop her, but Barbara doesn't listen to anybody. Balthazar gets really angry and hides away Barbara's scooty. Afterward, he hurries towards the king and complains about the princess's behavior that is getting worse day by day. She breaks all the rules and disobeys the royal etiquette, but the king believes that it is all because Barbara is growing up without her mother. Despite this, Barbara hasn't locked herself in her room. She is a curious girl and finds everything interesting. Moreover, she hasn't given up on her mother and is waiting for a chance to find her. The king has also ordered his first counselor to look for the queen in every corner of the world, but no trace has been found yet. Balthazar advises the king to give up and pay attention to his fighter, but the king is unable to do that because of his unconditional love for his queen. Balthazar gets really frustrated and takes out all of his anger on his assistant. He just wants to send the king far, far away, so far that the king will never be able to come back. Once the king is gone, Balthazar will win the heart of the little princess and trick her so he can rule the kingdom all by himself. Balthazar starts planning his evil deeds and orders his assistant to spy on everybody and report back. Later that night, Barbara reads a storybook before going to bed. She suddenly remembers that it's her birthday tomorrow and just an hour is left before midnight. Barbara wants to stay awake to wish herself a happy birthday, but she needs another storybook to pass the time. Like other kids, she isn't scared of the dark at all and sneaks out in the corridor and proceeds towards the library. She looks around to find a good book, but a big and shiny one catches her attention. She falls down while trying to get the book, but luckily she doesn't get any injury. Barbara takes the shiny book back to her room and realizes that it's already midnight. As the clock strikes 12, the book starts to glow. It opens up and a butterfly flies out of it. While trying to catch the butterfly, Barbara falls down on the book, and it magically takes her into another world. She slides down on a rainbow and keeps bumping here and there. There are several animals around, but they are totally different than the ones Barbara has ever seen. She walks around to find an exit, but runs into a small hut. There lives a young dragon named Dragosha. He usually stays at home because he can't fly or breathe fire like other dragons. Barbara greets him and asks his help to get back home. She suddenly notices the garden in the backyard and rushes to see it. Dragosha keeps warning her not to touch anything, but Barbara doesn't listen at all. She wants to water the plants, but Dragosha strictly tells her not to. Barbara does it anyway, but little does she know, the plants here are magical and grow enormously by extra water. At first, Barbara enjoys playing on the giant pumpkin, but then a bunch of creepy vines grab her hands and legs. She starts screaming for help, but Dragosha can't fly. He gets really worried and tries climbing up, but the vines throw him away. Suddenly, Dragosha figures out how to flap his wings in the right way. He starts flying and uses his fire breath to rescue Barbara. She gets on his back and reaches a safe place. Barbara really loved her exciting journey and believes that it's her best birthday ever. Hearing that it's her birthday, Dragosha tries to pluck a giant flower for her, but Barbara says that he doesn't have to do that. He has already done enough by bravely saving her life and becoming her first friend. Dragosha gets really touched by her words and helps her fly back to the exit door on the top of the rainbow slide. Barbara promises to visit him again, and she goes back to her own world. The next morning, Barbara starts planting vegetables because she is really inspired by Dragosha's garden. Balthazar tries to stop her, but she doesn't give any importance to his opinion. Balthazar gets really angry and decides to execute his plan right away. He rushes to the king and suggests that the king should take a long vacation as he looks really exhausted. But the king is worried that the queen may come back when he is away. He wants to be here to welcome her. Balthazar leaves quietly, but he hasn't given up on his plans. He daydreams about the moment he will become the king. He would torture all the royals and force them to obey him. Unaware of his evil plotting, the little princess is busy playing. She waits for the sun to set in and grabs the magic book to visit Dragosha. She reaches his house, but Dragosha is not there. Barbara assumes that the dragon is playing hide and seek, and she starts looking for him in the house. When she doesn't find him, Barbara decides to check in the forest. After a while, she hears Dragosha's screams and finds him stuck on a tree. He was collecting mushrooms and didn't see the trap. A rope is wrapped around Dragosha's leg, and Barbara must pull it to save her friend. She tries grabbing the rope, but it is too high for her. Barbara tries another way and jumps using a stick, but she also gets stuck with the dragon. Suddenly, a bunch of gnomes pass by and confess that they are the one who set such traps, so no one can take their mushrooms. Barbara begs the gnomes to let them, and they agree to help her. They try standing on each other to reach the rope, but fail miserably. They suggest losing the knot near the dragon's leg. Barbara does that while the gnomes hold a giant leaf to catch Dragosha. They both are free and leave after saying thanks to the gnomes. The next day at the palace, Barbara builds a trampoline because she is inspired by the giant leaves in the magical world. Balthazar sees her doing that, and his patience runs out. He wants to take over the kingdom as soon as possible. He goes to the king and informs him about the secret agents that have just returned from the borders. Balthazar lies that the enemy's forces have been sighted, and the king must go to the border to boost the morale of his troops. He is just trying to send the king away, but luckily the king doesn't trust him much. The king apparently shows concern, but he has no plan to go to the borders because he doesn't like waging wars. Later that night, when everybody goes to sleep, Barbara opens her magic book and goes to the magic land. She wants to play with Dragosha, but he is really busy today. His uncle Dra asked him to clean and sort all of his belongings. Barbara believes that sorting things is like a treasure hunt. They may find something cool. She looks around the stuff and finds a dart game. She hangs it on the wall and starts playing with Dragosha. One of the darts accidentally hits a secret box and uncovers the magic wand. As they move it around, Dragosha and Barbara change their appearance into different animals. They try getting back to normal, but unintentionally become wooden stools. Uncle Dra finally returns and looks for Dragosha. Luckily, Dragosha is a speaking stool and he tells Uncle Dra the whole story. Uncle Dra has also forgotten how to use the magic wand. He finds the instruction page and uses it to turn Dragosha and Barbara back to normal. The little princess greets Uncle Dra and thanks him for the help. The next day, she tries to tell her father about her magical adventures, but the king believes that Barbara is just talking about the fairy tales she reads. Barbara gives up and goes back to her room to read books. Barbara delivers the mirror to Uncle Dra, but doesn't reveal the thief's name. Meanwhile, the king is still suffering from the pain of losing his wife. Balthazar visits him again and tells him about a powerful witch that lives in the thick forests. The king finally falls for the trap and orders Balthazar to make preparations for the quest. They are going to take the witch's help to find the queen. Later that night, Barbara wanders in the corridor to look for her cat, but she notices Balthazar doing suspicious activity. He is holding a magical mirror that looks accidentally like the one dragons had. Barbara wants to go to the depth of this matter, and she visits the magic land again to ask Uncle Dra about the purpose of the mirror. It is used to see anything happening anywhere, and it can also be used to talk to your faraway relatives. Uncle Dra uses the magic mirror to talk to his brother. Seeing this, Barbara requests to use the mirror to talk to her mother, but the mirror doesn't work. Uncle Dra explains that this particular mirror is limited to the magic land. Barbara's world must have its own magic mirror, and she knows where to find it. After returning to the palace, she sneaks into Balthazar's house and grabs the magic mirror. But before she can leave, Balthazar catches her and locks the poor princess in her bedroom. The king is busy with the quest preparation and doesn't come to check on Barbara. She decides to ask Dragosha for help. He brings the magic wand and a healing liquid and offers to accompany Barbara to her world. They reach the exit gate, but it suddenly disappears. It happened because Balthazar's assistant had closed the magic book. Barbara starts crying and accepts her defeat. Luckily, her cat gets inside her room and opens the magic book. Barbara and Dragosha travel back to the real world and escape through the window. They reach Balthazar's house, and Barbara's cat helps them find the secret cave where the mirror is kept. A magical gate asks them to solve some riddles, and Barbara answers them all correctly because she has gotten really smart after reading so many books. The next obstacle on their way is a crack full of lava, but Barbara uses the magic wand to turn Dragosha into a stick and uses it to reach the other side. In the last obstacle, they fall into a deep pit. This time, the gnomes arrive to help them. After getting out, Barbara uses the healing liquid on the mirror and sees her mother. But before she can talk, the mirror stops working. Barbara returns to her room crying, but then the mirror in her room gives the message from the queen. She promises to return soon, which makes Barbara really happy. She wants to tell the king about Balthazar, but he is already expelled from the palace because of his weird suggestions. After a few days, the queen eventually returns and promises to tell Barbara the whole story once she grows a little older. Barbara agrees to be patient and accompanies her mother to meet her father. The next day, a huge celebration is carried out to honor the queen's return. This may seem like an end, but it's just the start of the adventure of the princess and the dragon.